Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, Sidero is a software services company that specialises in solving business problems through software innovation. They assist some of the country's largest companies with embracing digital transformation and by harnessing the power of the cloud. I'm now joined by the company's CEO, Carmel Owens. Carmel, start by providing us with an insight into your own career.
Thanks, Carl. Delighted to be here. Well, I'm a proud Carlovian, born and reared in Carlow, sort of not too far from Bunclody, and went to the FCJ. So lots of your listeners will be familiar with that. From there, I went to GCU and studied computer applications. And I'd say it was fairly clear that I was going to be the world's worst software developer. So I went into pre-sales fairly quickly and then into post-sales. Along the way, my brother and I took a step back and set up a company, Comtech Distribution. And at the time, Justin turned around to me and said, listen, you're better at writing, so you do sales. And that was really, I moved into sales then at that stage, although with the technical bent. So from there, I was really lucky, I guess, to work for companies, fantastic success stories like Horizon Open Systems. I worked for version 1, which is still flying. And then I worked for global companies like EMC and SunGard Availability Systems.
And Carmel, from working with those particular multinational organisations, what did you learn along the way from them?
Well, I suppose excellence was a theme there, excellence in delivery, that, quality was always so important in terms of whether it was proposals or the solutions that we provided. I've been lucky enough to have some great managers, some great mentors along the way. And I'm also really conscious of, that you need to provide that to your team and, in the organisation where you work. And I suppose, I've seen some fantastic growth. To say, some of those stories there, Horizon, version 1. I also worked for SQS, which was subsequently acquired by Xplio. So I've seen organisations, I guess, go through what you'd consider exponential growth. So, there was a lot of learnings around that.
So provide us with an insight into Sidero and what you do.
So Sidero was founded in Athlone in 2013, and we're, a tech company. Today, we think that we are home to one of Ireland's most accredited and experienced teams of software engineers and cloud experts. So we build software, mission-critical software in the cloud for some of the most successful Irish and global organisations. Companies like telcos, companies like insurance companies, banks, that type of thing. It's a great success story. And what's fantastic about it for me is the fact that, a Midlands-based company, the whole regional success of it, I think, is great. And as somebody who comes from, Carlow, it's great to see organisations thrive in the regions.
Your customers are large multinationals. What type of problems are you solving for them?
Well, really, as I say, they're trying to steal a march on their competition. So typically, a lot of the systems, they date over time. We've all heard about the cloud and remote working during lockdown. And really, all that is about putting systems in a destination where they can operate, they can be more agile. If you're an airline and you're running a seat sale, and everybody hits the website all at once, then you need to be able to spike up for capacity. So companies are looking to the cloud, maybe not to save them costs, but to give them more efficiency, more agility, more resilience as well, so that, if it goes down, that there's a second location there available as backup. So what Sidero does is we help manage the move of those systems to the cloud. We reverse engineer them if we need to as well, and then we support them then on an ongoing basis.
A great example of this, of course, is the project that you did with Capital Water, where you literally brought a traditional business into the world of the cloud and real-time data.
So Capital Water is an absolutely great example of, moving systems to the cloud and the benefits that they can give. They, as an organisation, they provide services that monitor water quality for their customers. And they had sensors, in the various locations, monitoring, picking up data around that water quality. So they were spending a huge amount of time on the reporting, the analysis of that data, and there were gaps in the quality of the data as well. So working with Sidero, we helped them, update the system, put in some machine learning technology, and I think, saved them a huge amount of time by centralising their system and also creating a much more efficient service for their customers. And of course, because it's in the cloud, it only has to be maintained once. So it's not out on multiple customer sites.
And Carmel, I know that last year Sidero completed research about digital transformation spend, and the findings were very definitive.
They were, yeah. I mean, last year companies reckoned that they were spending on average about 560,000 on cloud and digital services, and that they intended to move, about 86% of them intended to move even more of their services to the cloud. So big focus on investment and increased usage in digital transformation technologies, about 61%. And, I think other areas that they were interested in, 5G, AI, and that they really thought that I suppose that the other thing that I think that came through was that about 17% of them felt that actually their digital transformation strategy was enabling success. So they really were focusing on how could they support the business strategy and improve their digital transformation.
And Sidero is certainly on an upward growth trajectory, with 75 new jobs being announced following a €4.5 million investment. What will this further growth look like, and what type of roles will Sidero be recruiting for?
Well, it's well underway, and I suppose it's no news to a lot of your listeners about the demand for, talent, trying to find, really good quality people. So the roles are a mix, to be perfectly honest with you, of more experienced staff and graduates. So we're hiring 75 people, as you say, 4.5 million of an investment. And really, they're across those very kind of high growth areas, multi-cloud, software development. So, leading edge type technologies. We're very close to the universities, and of course, we'd love to see representation from the southeast as well there. So our graduate program, our graduate intake is very important to us, and that's included. And to give you, over the last number of years, we've really invested. We've invested more than $1 million in our graduate recruitment program since 2018. So I think it's an exciting time for us.
And Carmel, you alluded to it already, that Sidero is operating in a competitive environment in Ireland for talent at this moment in time. So how will you set the company apart from the competition to attract and retain talent?
Well, I suppose, I'm very conscious that we have, super bright, engaged team working for us. And typically they're really interested in, more skills. So the first thing is, I guess, we're always looking for new projects, new customers in sort of interesting areas of technology. A lot of the work that we're doing, for example, around 5G, the cloud, that's an area that a lot of people want to get into. So we've a big focus on moving people around so that their skills, they upgrade their skills so that their knowledge remains current. And then, of course, there's investment in learning and development. So, for example, we've put quite a few people through their master's programs. We're always ready to support our team, in taking on new projects.
And finally, Carmel, as the new CEO of Sidero, what are your long-term plans for the business?
Well, our long-term plan is growth. So we're at the 200 mark. We look to significantly grow our numbers. So, the focus, of course, is going to be on, recruitment, retention, our graduate program. And, then, of course, work with us, work for us. So we're also looking to customers. We've been successful in our growth so far. We would probably look maybe to the UK as well. We've done some smaller projects there, but we'll continue to expand that. And I think, multi-cloud is probably the future for us. So whether it's Azure or Google or AWS, that we have skills across all of those platforms.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Carmel Owens, the CEO of Sidero, and we wish Carmel and the team every continued success.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.